Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today is final thoughts review on the Denver DD44SL. This review, of course, also stands for the Denver DD44S, which is the exact same guitar, only a right-handed version of it. So you can take the review from the lefty side and move it to the righty, exactly the same. Okay, so I've had this thing for a little over 2 months now. I have thoroughly given this thing a good thrashing. I have been playing this as much as I possibly can, which is quite a lot, okay, and really putting it through its paces, right? And I must say my end results on this thing are quite good. I am very happy with this machine. I paid 50 bucks for it. Why wouldn't I be happy, you know? Even at 140 bucks brand new, I would be just as happy with this thing. You know, I'm the kind of person that when I go and I buy a guitar, you know, if I have a budget, I do have to keep that in mind because, you know, a lot of the times, hey, I'm on a tight budget, right? But when I'm going out and looking at a guitar, it's not about the price to me. It's about, does it have quality? Does it have decent wood? Does it have a good sound? Is it playable? Does it have these tuners? Okay. These are the cast tuners that are also adjustable. You know, I don't care where it's made. This is made in China. Do I care? No. Okay. This thing is very well constructed. If you watch my first review, you'll definitely hear everything there is to know about this that I had at the time for you guys. And nothing's really changed either as far as, you know, main information. You know, okium on neck, rosewood fingerboard, medium fat frets, plastic pegs, plastic saddle, plastic nut, rosewood bridge, the cast tuners, sapelli back and sides. Yes, it is a fake. Okay, as far as the two-piecer goes, that's just an inlay only for decoration. Has binding around it. Okay, I'm giving you guys a quick overview here. The pickguard, of course. It came with Diodario strings on it, which to me I felt were a little bit tinny for my taste, but hey, they're on there. I don't change strings until I kill them. And I finally killed the Diodarios, so now I've got Martin lights on here, and oh, do I ever love the sound of this thing now. The top is made out of laminated spruce, okay? If you want a solid spruce top guitar, you're gonna have to spend more money, okay? This comes with a laminated spruce, which is just fine. You do lose some bottom end, especially with those Diodarios that come with it. But if you want some bottom end, then you're going to need to switch over to the Martin lights that I'm running now. Okay, so there's your sound demo. You can compare against my first video on this, the main review. It had the Diodarios. These strings sound way, way better. I've always adored Martin light gauge strings. They have that sound I like. And you're not always going to get away with that either. But I can tell you this much, on the Yamahas that I've owned in my life, any Martin guitars I used to own, years ago, and of course this one too, the Martins do make the guitar sound so much nicer and better, you know, but that's my taste. It's what I'm after. It's my sound that I'm after, right? So everybody has their preference. Now, the way the action was set up when I got this, it was very playable, very good, so very impressed with it. However, I like my action subterranean level of lowness. I have just a very slightest amount of neck relief in this thing. I set it up myself because I work on all my own guitars. And I do have a video on how to set up a neck on a guitar, so if you're curious, okay, pay very close attention to what I tell you in that video, because you don't want to screw up. But the action is set so low on this now, it's very easy for string bending compared to the way it was set up. So that's great. No fret buzz at all. It's doing wonderful. No damage on the frets. Now generally when you buy guitars, especially cheap guitars, I mean this is 140 bucks new, it's not expensive, okay? Pretty much everybody I know has got 140 bucks to spend on a guitar. Usually you damage at least these 3 to 4 fret wires or frets. Okay, these metal things are called your frets. Okay, so if somebody says put your first finger on the first fret, yeah, they're talking about this, the in-between. They're not talking on the fret wire, they're talking here, okay, on the second fret, on the first string, right, and so on, make a D chord. But the fret wire is actually called the fret, okay? You will damage those usually, especially playing down at the lower end a lot. Not even a ding in these things yet. I am so amazed at the quality of these frets on here, especially with the amount I've done to this thing for playing. I mean, I annihilated the J Tercer frets in 10 hours and I wasn't even playing hard on that thing. Mind you, we did find out it had brass frets, which we all know do not belong on any guitar, but hey, they put them on. And that was a $160 guitar new, and I paid $140 for that thing. But I also got fooled. Had I known, you know, that it had brass frets, I wouldn't even have touched it. I would have moved on to the next music store, you know what I mean, or a much higher end guitar in the store at the time. But I had other things I needed to do too with my money that day. I made a bad choice. I paid for it. That's the way it goes. This is definitely a good choice, okay? Whether you buy it new or used, if you buy it used, make sure it's in mint condition. And I'm going to be doing a video on what you need to look for on used guitars. I'll be doing that video soon. But as far as brand new goes, I mean, the action is good out of the box, okay? And it was good when I got it, and I did buy it used. It only had a few hours of playing time on it when I got it. But I like my action low, and that's where I have it set. I recommend to anybody that's a beginner player, especially if you're, well, in the case of this guitar, but any guitar you get the action set up as low as it can possibly go and still having some neck relief, because that's very, very important. Okay, you do not dare run a straight neck or a back bowed neck. It must be a little bit of relief, and having no fret buzz, okay? Then you will have the most awesome experience in learning to play guitar ever, because you will barely have to put any pressure on the strings, which also means your fingers aren't broken in initially. You got no callus, right? So having it set up super low is going to help you a lot, and it's going to keep you more interested. Nobody's interested in bawling their eyeballs out after 5 minutes of playing, and because their fingers look like they're about ready to split apart like craters, okay? Just not cool. So just be aware that when you do have a low action set up, you don't have to give this thing a death grip. You just have to touch it and put enough pressure until all the strings ring out for each chord. And it's great, which is also going to help with being faster up and down the neck too. Now I'm also using a 0.38mm pick, which also allows me to strum extremely fast compared to thicker picks. Okay, it also helps with the highs and the mids, okay, to accent themselves, right? And I can still get my lows in there, and these Martin strings have nice lows. Now, I'm not saying that the strings that come with it are disgusting, okay, they are Dioderos, they are good strings, they do sound nice, but for my taste in sound and music, the Dioderos were just too tinny on the low end, and I figured, well, I got this pack of Martins here, and I finally wore out the Dioderos because I was not willing to switch the strings until I absolutely had to, and I wore them out, especially my third and fourth string. I was actually doing some damage to the outer winding, so all over the place, so I had to change them. It wasn't optional at that point. And I thought, wow, what are the chances these Martins are going to make this thing really ring and sound awesome? And you know what? I was right, they did. And wow. Now I'll be honest with you guys, when I changed my strings, not that this is going to happen to you, the likelihood is like pretty slim. It's probably just my luck of the draw because things can happen. I actually broke one of my string pegs that hold the string into the bridge. So I just bought a whole new set. Actually, I bought 2 sets of 6 because at 30 cents a peg, who cares? They're plastic pegs. They're going to break eventually. I just got lucky that day and I snafooed. And, but I wasn't going to replace just one peg because the material of the plastic on the pegs that come with the guitar are way different plastic than what I bought as replacements. And I'm still going to be experimenting with bone pegs. When I can get it done, I want to change the bridge to a bone bridge because I have other tones that I want to get out of this guitar. And these are like real cheap things to do for me, but set up even still like this. And the only thing I've changed was I had to do my pegs, so that was kind of had to be done. But the Martin light gauge strings, I can really appreciate the sound of this guitar that much more. I mean, normally to get this kind of a quality sound, you're spending like $300–400 on a guitar, and this proves you don't need to as well, And if you're on a budget, you definitely can't, so you might as well get something that's going to get you started. It's going to last you for several years. And when you become a better and better player, when you get more money, then you can upgrade to something else. But this thing should do you for years, regardless. I bought this thing as a makeshift guitar because of what happened with that terser thing. And I had $50, and I told her, I'll give you $50. I mean, I have no idea what the frets are made out of. I'm taking a chance. I'll give you 50. Because I'm not going to get screwed twice in a row putting out a bunch of money. And so I got it for $50, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. And I was, like I said, I was very happy when I found out what the fret material actually was, because it's like, I'm not going to be able to wear these things out too easy, and believe me, I've been trying, and they just won't, so I'm very impressed. But anyways, so now I can keep this thing around until I can afford to, know that I can afford to put the Martin on the way that I want, because I want a Martin with a cutaway. I changed my mind on the first Martin I was looking at. I'd mentioned that. I've actually decided I'm going to go for one with a cutaway body, because I really do want the cutaway body so I can play up in here a lot easier when I want to, and I just like the style too. So I'm looking at the Martin cutaways, and it is going to cost me a lot more money, so I'm kind of like, I gotta wait my time, but at least this thing in the meantime is gonna do everything I need to do. And I've been playing for over 32 years, guys. I mean, I'm no beginner here. I'm a really, really good guitar player. I'm not a professional, what I would consider to be a professional. I'm not cutting records or anything like that type of thing. But I've got the skills to play guitar, to play extremely well. I've got my right-handed guitar I'm teaching myself how to play. I mean, I'm not even going to put out money on a acoustic right-handed guitar. I'm not going to put a lot of money out, because the right-handed thing for me, I mean, I've got 2 right-handed guitars now. It's just that my 3/4 size Fender is way too small for me. So now I'm actually full-time now on my right-handed electric, but I want the right-handed acoustic. Because it makes it even that much more easier and quicker for me to be able to do everything I need to do and get those rhythm patterns built up better. It's a whole body movement angle thing for me, So to get something like this, I may just end up ordering in one of these things in the right-handed version, same exact model but right-handed, because it is affordable, and it is a great guitar. I don't know anything about the rest of their line and their other types of guitars, and they do have classical guitars as well, etc. I'll put a link in the description of the video here so you can check out the main website. Now, you can't buy off Denver directly, but there is an area in there. I think it's in you'll find it anyways. I think it's in the contact area or somewhere, or it says dealers. Click on there, you'll find a map, type in your postal code, it'll tell you where your nearest dealer is for Denver guitars, and that's where you'll be able to buy them at. So, you know, you can look at that, and this comes in many different colors too, by the way, and they all do come with gig bags, and so do their classical guitars. If you're looking for a classical guitar, you know, they have them there. But like I said, I don't know anything about any of their other guitars. I just know about this one, and I know that this one has really super impressed me. You know, it's been great. I mean, I should have hurt a fret by now, because even though I don't have to squeeze hard, I've been squeezing hard. You know, I've been, you know, just really giving it, you know, just to see if something's going to let go, and it's been great. So, I mean, what more can I tell you about this thing? Not a lot, other than, hey, full-size guitar. If you need a full-size guitar, this is definitely one of the ones in their lineup that is a full-size steel string. They do have full-size classical nylon string guitars, but this is definitely more than worth the money, brand new. If you're looking at used, because maybe you don't have 140 bucks new, which I don't know many people who don't, okay? But if you're looking for used ones, search the internet for used ones. But that's the problem with buying used. You don't know what kind of shape it's really in. You know, I had the ability at least that it was on a local Kijiji board, okay, which is a board where they sell used stuff. I was able to, you know, go to the person's house. They actually lived in town, which was great. So that was an advantage, and I also know what I'm looking for, you know, and I got to see it up close and personal, you know. That makes a massive difference, you know. So, and I will have a video, by the way, of how to go about buying a used guitar. So, but definitely very happy with this, guys. So thanks for watching the video and for your patience. And you know, I don't do final thoughts and reviews on everything, but this is one of the things that I figured, you know, after 2 months of beating on this thing every day, I think it's time we do a final thoughts on it and review, just to sum everything up and give you guys the total scoop on this thing. Because now I've had enough time to figure out if I'm not going to even do any damage to the frets yet. And so far, nothing. They're doing really, really well. So, you know, pretty impressive little rig. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.